Are you moving to Texas and considering a master plan community? Well, stick around for this video. We're going to break down some of the top master plan communities here in the greater Houston area. A lot of these made the top 50 master plan communities here in the United States right now. But first, what I want to talk about are master plan communities and what they are. So this is something that we've seen across the country, but there are a ton of master plan communities in Texas and in the greater Houston area. These are basically going to be very, very large scale communities with lots of different homes. They are going to have lots of amenities and things like that. And, clubhouses and great stuff like that. So as far as pros, people love the amenities with master plan communities. You've got large swimming pools, splash pads, sports parks, playgrounds, walking trails, fitness centers, clubhouses. Some even have lakes, boating trails, and things like that, restaurants, and tons of stuff for you to explore and check out. All-inclusive lifestyle. So a lot of times you will have schools and restaurants and stuff like that right inside of your community. So, when you're sending your kids to school, they just have to walk down the street. If you want to go grab a quick bite to eat, there's oftentimes restaurants and things like that right in the community. So you don't have to go very far. Just take your golf cart or ride your bike, maybe even walk. And the HOA. So this is a pro and a con. What is oftentimes what people like about the strict HOAs and master plan communities is that they, have great landscaping. No one's going to have a purple house next to you. Lawns won't be overgrown and things like that. But that can also be seen as a con for people that don't want to deal with an HOA. But it's pretty much unavoidable in a master plan community. The other thing, the HOA fees tend to be a little bit higher because you have all of these great amenities. And oftentimes in master plan communities, there's going to be some sort of community impact fee or fee that's charged every single time a property sells. So if you're buying a house, you're likely going to have to pay some sort of fee to the HOA. Or selling a house, some fee to an HOA when the property changes hands. Lack of privacy. Like, I think that there is a great sense of community in a lot of these master plan communities, but then, obviously that means that there's a lot of stuff going on. So if you're someone who likes to kind of stay to themselves and doesn't want to hang out with their neighbors, a master plan community may not be for you. And finally, a lot of the homes look the same. Most master plan communities and developers do a really good job of ensuring that they have a lot of different builders. So normally what you'll have is kind of lot sizes, right? So 50-foot lots, 60-foot lots, 70-foot lots, and so on. And in each of those sizes of lots, you're normally going to have a few different builders, right? So when you're looking at them, you normally have some that may start in the 300s or 400s, some that may start at 4 to 5s, 5 to 6s, and so on. There's normally going to be a pretty wide variety of price points in master plan communities. So that gives, good variety, but in different sections, this would be the 50-foot section. You'd have all of those kind of similarly priced homes, right? You're not going to have like the $300,000 home next to the $800,000 home, if that makes sense. So definitely pros and cons of master plan communities. Obviously, a lot of that's also personal preference. Again, some people love HOAs, some people hate them, a lot of personal preference there. But what recently came out was the consulting firm RCLCO puts out their top selling master plan communities. So they recently put a top selling master plan communities of mid 2022 list out, and Houston-based Lantejas Sun Terra community in Katy was the top-ranked local community at number 8 nationwide with 450 home sales in the first half of this year. We've talked about this list previously, and we broke down the top 10 master plan communities in the greater Houston area. So we've already talked about some of these, but interestingly enough, what I will do is pull up the full list and we'll go over this real quick. And then we'll dig into the specific communities here in the greater Houston area and talk a little bit about those. So here is the summary of their mid-year 2022 top sales across the country. Basically what they do is they'll take all of the master plan communities and see what the sales are. So sales declined by 18% compared to the same time period last year. Obviously, supply chain issues are still hurting builders, and inadequate new home inventory also poses a problem for them. And then price increases. We've seen properties and homes in some of the master plan communities here that were selling for $300K back in, 2019 are now selling for $500,000 or more, right? Nationally, the average price among all new single-family homes is up 15% since mid-year last year and up 40% from April 2020. The Villages is a 55 plus community in Florida, is once again the top selling community in the nation. They have 1,500 sales to date. Lakewood Ranch is number 2. Obviously, we know a ton of people are moving to Florida. And then rounding out the top 10, we've got one in Dallas, Silverado, and then Sunterra out here in the Houston area. But Houston, we had 13 communities in the top 50, represented by 3,430 sales in the first half of the year. We represented about 20% of the sales of all of the ranked master plan communities. All right, so what I want to do is break down some of the neighborhoods. So as I said, the ones that came in ranking on the list for the greater Houston area at number 8 was Sunterra. So Sunterra came in at number 8, and this is out in the Katy area. There are 450 sales there. And this is one of the communities that has a crystal lagoon. These are becoming really big. This is in Lago Mar, and that's 12 acres. The lagoon in Sunterra is 3.5 acres. But basically, these are obviously very popular. We know it's super hot in the greater Houston area. But Sunterra is, a community out in Katy. And what I will do is pull up some info on it. So we've got homes here starting in the 200s up to the 800s. So as I was saying, depending on the different areas of areas of the community, you're going to have different home prices. So the home builders out here in Sunterra, we've got a wide variety of builders, about a ton: Adams Homes, Ashton Woods, Castle Rock, Centex, Chesmar, Kalina, Davidson, DR Horton, Empire Homes, Gehan, Hamilton Thomas, Highland Homes, History Maker, KB Homes, Long Lake, Perry, Pulte, Shea, and Weston. So a lot of big Texas builders on this list. But you'll notice that the builders are in different sections. So depending on what area of the community you're in, they may have different sections. So Sunterra is out in Katy, out in west of downtown. And as you can see on here by the color-coded map, depending on the color of the section of the map, there's different builders that you could choose from in those areas. And then you've got the model homes and things like that. So there is going to be a lot to do, not only in the community, but also in the extended area. So this is outside of I-10 and 99. Sunterra is located here. And then you can see all of the stuff that's around as far as grocery stores, parks, food and drink, shopping, museums, all kinds of stuff. And this is just like what it is today, right? There's always going to be more stuff coming. And then if you're looking as far as things to do around the area, the 3.5 acre Crystal Lagoon is going to be in the community with, resort style amenities around there as well. So Sunterra came in again at number 8 with 450 sales for the first half of the year. Coming in at number 19 with 321 sales this year is Bridgeland. We've done videos on Bridgeland before. Bridgeland is located in the Cypress, Texas area. One thing that's interesting with Bridgeland, so it is a 11,000 acre master plan community. It is just north of Highway 10 and 290. But one thing that is interesting about Bridgeland is we are starting to see different types of homes go in here. So Highland Homes is starting to pre-sell townhome style homes, which is interesting because Bridgeland historically has been known for single family homes and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. but just a different type of development that's happening with Highland Homes here in Bridgeland. Bridgeland's broken up into villages. So you've got Lakeland, Parkland, Prairieland, and Creekland. And so each like little community within the community has its own amenities and things like that. They've got playgrounds, trails, pools, schools, employment, places of worship and shopping. So what's really great about Bridgeland is there's a lot, that you can see. There are 17 different builders right now in Parkland Village. And then there are some models in Sheldon Lake as well. So you can see the different builders, in the area. And if we were to take a look at the builders, you're going to see a lot of the same names that we just saw over, in Sun Terra, as far as, the different, builders. A lot of these are Texas builders. And again, depending on the lot sizes, you're going to have different, price points and things like that throughout the community. The other thing that I think is interesting about Bridgeland is that they are also building a build to rent community. So these are going to be homes that are specifically designed just for rentals. And they're going to be 1 to 4 bedroom units and homes in Bridgeland. It's going to have amenities and things like that, but 263 homes for lease. And the next homes that will be available for rent will be in the summer of 2023. So very interesting there. Basically, it's 27-acre gated community that they will be opening near Prairieland Village. And it'll be interesting to see, they want to have, a lock and leave lifestyle for people. And they're going to range in size between 650 to 1,700 square feet with gated private backyards. Some will have garages and things like that. So I think this is very interesting. We've seen build to rent communities a lot, in the greater Houston area. Not all of them have always, been successful. So it'll be interesting to see, what that looks like as, we continue to see construction, and then obviously people actually moving into those homes. Number 3 on the list, and number 20 was by Land Tejas, the same developer as Sun Terra. Marvita came in at number 20 with 320 sales. So they were edged out by Bridgeland by 1 sale. Bridgeland had 321, Marvita had 320. A little bit better of price points. Homes range anywhere from the 200s to the 500s. And the builders in Marvita will vary, but you got a lot of the same names here in Marvita as far as the builders that we had, both in Sun Terra and Bridgeland as well. So again, one thing that's good about that, if you're looking to purchase a home, is say, perhaps MI Homes in Marvita has a specific floor plan that's going to be available, but they don't have a model. There may be a model over in Bridgeland you can take a look at, or a model in another community. So I would always ask that, if you're working with a, builder to build your new home. So Marvita is 856 acres. It's just north of FM 529, west of Fry, and just east of the Grand Parkway out there in Cypress. They're planned for about 2,500 homes. And you can also access the amenities at Stonegate, Mira Mesa, and Canyon Lakes West, like the clubhouses and pools, splash pads, tennis courts, and things like that. So this is what the community kind of looks like. All of the model homes, and then there will be additional future development as well as commercial section. And some of the areas in the community are gated. So that is something to know as well. All right, so coming in at number 33 on the list, and what would be number 4 in the greater Houston area, is Tamaron. And so this is a D.R. Horton community out in the Katy, Texas area. And this is going to be a community of about 4,000 homes. And this is, again, out in Katy, Texas. So if we take a look at the area, I don't know if I can zoom out on the map. This is just south of, Katy Mills Mall area, but out here off of I-10. And they've got a lot of great amenities. but it's a D.R. Horton community. So you've got specific, home floor plans available that are all D.R. Horton as the builder. If you were looking for D.R. Horton, but you wanted to be further north, the next one on the list is Foster's Ridge up in Conroe. So you'd have to want a completely different lifestyle and thought there, but Foster's Ridge is up in the Conroe area. They had 255 sales in the first half of the year. And this section of Foster's Ridge does have more modern homes. They've been building in Foster's Ridge for a while, but there is a lot, to do around the area. And, many people have enjoyed living in Foster's Ridge. So rounding out the list for the greater Houston area, we've got a few more on the list. I wanted to talk about today was the top 5s. That's Sun Terra, Bridgeland, Marvita, Tamaron, and Foster's Ridge. Rounding out the bottom 8 are Ellison, coming in at number 35, and that is out in the Katy, Texas area. We've got Siena coming in at 36, which is in the Missouri City, Southwest Fort Bend County area. Highlands, which is a Caldwell Communities in Porter, Texas, so up northeast of the greater Houston area. Meridiana out in Sharon by Rise Communities came in at number 38. Number 42 was a tie, but Cross Creek Ranch came in at number 42 with 227 sales in the first half of the year. Below that at 46 was Caldwell Ranch in Sharon, another D.R. Horton community. Next up would be Wood Forest in Montgomery, Texas. And then number 50 was Jordan Ranch in Fulshire. So interestingly enough, we've got some that were up and some that were down as far as the total amount of sales. But the ones that I would say are more notable is Foster's Ridge was up by, let's see, Foster's Ridge was up by about 6% on a year-over-year basis. Ellison was up by 1%. And I think the only other one that was up was Jordan Ranch with 205 sales was up by 40%. So again, if you're thinking about moving to a master plan community in the greater Houston area, our team helps our clients move anywhere from Conroe down to the Sharon, Manville area, out to Katy and everywhere in between. So please feel free to reach out. We would love to have a consultation with you and chat more about kind of what you're looking for, what communities may fit your lifestyle. Not everything that the builders have available for sale is always available online, but we've got great relationships with builders throughout the greater Houston area and would always love to chat with you if you've got any questions about looking to move to the area. But hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.